What's going on, YouTube? I know it's been a a long time since I've uploaded a video, so I figured changed up a couple things since the last time I've added a video to the channel. But thanks everyone for the likes and subscribes. In the past couple of months, it's kind of taken off, obviously, as the no prep stuff has not burnt out just yet. But obviously, you can see right in front of you, I got the new DR10M. This has been the newest addition to my multiple RC cars, unfortunately, but I've had it for a couple of weeks now. Just been kind of doing some things to it that hasn't really been done yet. So obviously with that, it takes a little bit of time. So it's actually kind of doing some shakedown passes recently and trying to get the car figured out, see what I like, what I don't like. But nonetheless, we'll kind of get into it. So right off the bat, you'll see the Marlboro body, I guess, bracing or whatever you want to call it, carbon. These pretty much slide in and out depending on your body. I'm kind of running two different bodies at the moment. My main body will be the Superbird Drive RC, but my secondary body is a brand new S550 Mustang body from Drive RC as well, which these are actually pinned for, but for right now, the Superbird sits right up next to it and doesn't let any sort of body flapping. So it kind of works for both bodies there. So yeah, so electronics. So for battery, we're running the Macklin 2S5P 8300. I actually took off all of my QS8 connectors because most of my wires are still 12 gauge, my R1 and my DRK, which I'm running the OG. I've seen a bunch of popped DRK TSRs, which I'm not about. So yeah, everything is XT90s. And if any of y'all have soldered your own connectors on, this battery actually came with the QS8, but putting 8 gauge on an XT90 is hell. It takes forever. These XT90s, they get really hot really fast compared to the QS8s, and then what happens when it gets too hot, the insides start to come apart and go in and out. So yeah, you kind of have to take your time. But battery's been running great so far. Haven't used it a whole lot because you can still see it looks pretty fairly new. But behind that is an OG DRK. Had really good luck with it. Actually, my DR10, my regular DR10, I have my first DRK that I've ever bought, and it still runs flawlessly with the 3.5. So, but for servo, just running a Savox low mount servo, and then on top of that is the receiver, which my next big item will come later. Is I switched over to a Sanwa M17, which obviously is probably the most dominant, I would say, radio out there. So I had to, run with the big dogs. You gotta play with the big dogs. So that is that. And this car has pretty much every Exotech part that you can pretty much buy for a DR10. It fits right on here. So I'll kind of run through everything, starting from front to back. Sorry for all the mess in the background. Just been changing out bearings and trying different stuff and whatnot. But so from the front, as you can see here, we got the McAllister DR10 front bumper, and then on each side I have about 100. I guess combine all of this is about 100 and I would say 60 grams on the nose. Going back, we have just these stock threaded shocks that come with the kit. I can't remember what bag it is, but they actually come with these little black spacers. And what I did was I actually put them on the inside so I could limit the travel, just so this car isn't super high in the front. I usually run my suspension pretty firm, and I'm running, what am I running? I think I'm running 30 weight in the front. So it kind of has a little bit of expansion, but also, or sorry, compression. And then as I go in and out, it has full extension outward, but whenever I slow down, it has a nice smooth compression there. So running RC Speed Secret turnbuckles front and rear. I'm running Exotech steering bell crank in there. Everything's super smooth. Have ceramic bearings up front, and it's kind of hard to see, but right there I'm running a brass front bulkhead, keep all the weight low. And I will say I have weighed this car. It is a pig for right now. I'm just trying to get it to where I can get it to leave out of the hole pretty good, and then I can start taking weight off to see where that power to weight ratio really is. So yeah, so that's pretty much everything up front. And then in the rear, I am actually running for motor, a new Wheelie 3.0 DR. It does come with a 13.5 rotor already, so you don't actually have to swap that out. It's been running fairly well. I have a very conservative tune in this car. I think I have a total of 8 runs on it, and just kind of figuring out the new radio and the new car. And right off the bat, with very little boost and turbo, it ran a 2.5, and then a 2.4, and then a 2.3, and then I turned up a little bit more before my test session ended, and it ran a 2.2 at 62. So it's not even mile an hour where it should be. So just working on everything little by little. And obviously, as you can see, here is the transmission. This is actually an Integy B5M aluminum transmission case. I haven't seen it been done very much yet. I'm sure it will come. There's a couple of things you have to do to make this thing work flawlessly. So if you order an RC Speed Secret bearings, so the kit comes with a bunch of 5x10 by 4, I believe, bearings for the top shaft for the stock case, which is right here. So this cavity right here, on this side and on this side, those bearings live, but actually on this case, it actually takes a 5x12 by 4. So you'll actually, if you want to go this route, you have to buy 2 separate bearings, which just found them online. It wasn't very hard, ceramics to match all the others, but all the other bearings work as far as the diff bearings. And actually, this transmission, if you're not familiar, has 2 idlers, so you'll need 4 5x10 by 4s, which the kit comes with, and then the bottom ones, I can't remember all of the dimensions offhand, but yeah, it's been working great. I just changed it out last weekend, made some test hits over the weekend, and sure enough, nothing's binding, everything's running straight, car's running flawless at this point. Only my one knock on this transmission, so on here's obviously your waterfall. So this motor is pushed all the way against this front aluminum, brace here, and the biggest gearing I can get on this car is a 1890 for right now, and that's literally the biggest I can go. So I can't even go to a 93 or a 96 or a 99. The DR10, obviously the motor's in the back. If you take off the transmission case in the rear, or cover shield, you can actually run up to a 96. I think 18 is like the biggest gearing you can run. That's my only knock about this kit, is you can't really run big gearing. I think my FDR at the moment is a 13.3, which is perfect for this 3.0. And then obviously the Exotech motor plate here, it's just a little bit nicer than the stock one. That is DR10 as well. And then here at the bottom, I'm running the Factory Team front C-block in brass. This comes in aluminum, but obviously I wanted all the weight pretty low. And then in the rear, if you can kind of see it there, I'm running the D brass, and then also there's an added weight in the rear as well. The kit comes with aluminum, which is still fine, but just like I said, I wanted all the brass that I could put on this car to make it pretty heavy. I know it's pretty heavy. I think with the body I weighed in at like 29.25, which is really heavy for a no prep car. Some people run 2700, 25, 23. It just all depends on where your tolerance is to get the car down the road or surface that you're racing on. Like I said, I'm running the RC Speed Secret titanium turnbuckles in the rear here. I am running the stock shocks and the stock springs in the rear. I'm actually running all 4 trans spacers or risers. So if you go this route, I think the kit tells you to run 2. I ran 3 out of the at first, and then I added the fourth one. But if you do go this route, if you put that fourth one on here, there's no room through here for it to not start binding or touching your axle here for the anti-roll bar, or I guess sway bar. I really wanted to run the sway bar. I was kind of hesitant, but after testing without it, the car is running even straighter without it. So I'm not even going to worry about it. And the reason for running 4 spacers is mainly for my shaft angle here. So on my DR10, regular DR10, there is no way to run any sort of trans risers or plates or anything. So when I had the car limited in the rear, the axle angle was so aggressive, it eventually broke both sides of the dog bone. So running all 4 of these gives me that angle. When this car squats, the axle angle is directly just horizontal. There's no crazy angles. It's direct drive. There's less stress. So I highly recommend, if you're going this route, running all 4. It is fairly tight. When you start getting down here, there's, for the ball studs, there's actually a, I guess, wishbone looking part down here where your ball studs go into. You'll have to take the 2 screws in the back out and then put the 4th one in there and kind of shimmy the motor in it. It did take me a little bit to kind of finally get it, but it did work out in the end. And then once you do that, you are going to have to run, I believe they're M3 screws. I believe they're 16 millimeters long. I actually had a stainless kit, and there's actually some button head screws right there to go all the way through the chassis plate and all through the trans riser. So you are going to need some longer screws, but I've been fairly happy with the performance of the car so far. I am running just the stock wheelie bar. For right now, I've already seen Team Associated come out with the shock. It's a unishock right here in the middle, and it comes with carbon fiber sides. I would prefer if it was a dual shock here in the rear, but for right now, I'm just going to run the stock, I guess it's like a 12-inch wheelie bar. It's been running super fine. I will say, it does tell you in the kit to glue the tires. I was like, nah, there's no way these things are going to come off. Sure enough, the rubber did come off one of them, so I had to order literally a whole new kit here just to get one rubber tire. So that was unfortunate, but they did tell me, and I did not listen. So in the shocks, I am running no, not 100. I'm running TLR 90 weight in the rear, right there. So it's pretty firm, and the stock springs do work fairly well. I don't really know if you can see that, but let me see if I can. It doesn't really give me an option, I guess. So let's see here. So here, I'll just kind of zoom in here. So if you look at the axle here, right there. So when the car squats, it literally is straight across. So that's the benefit of running 4 trans risers, is when this car starts to dig, your axle angle isn't crazy steep where you're not snapping dog bones left and right. So, and I'm running on the 3rd hole here. And for tires, I'm running just blues, reactions. In the rear on standard tires, nothing fancy. I had very good luck with these so far. I literally just pulled them out of the bag, glued them, mounted them, and wiped them down with naphtha, and they were super sticky. So I am super happy with those. And in the front here, I'm running the DE low profile accelerators, and obviously RC speed circuit bearings. There is a lump in this tire. For some reason it got glued really weird, but it's right here. But this thing spins forever. Of course, that's the benefit of having nice ceramic bearings. And then I will say, in the diff, it does come with diff fluid in the kit, but what I went ahead and did was I always keep some of this on hand. This is diff loop right here, 500K weight. I have this in all my cars. Most people run 1 million, 2 million. Well, the only thing with that, if you're running 1 million, I mean, it's pretty much, I mean, it's molasses at that point. And some people have to like boil it just to squeeze it out of a bottle. But yeah, 500K gives it just enough slip where I need it, and it's been working out for me. So that is that. Oh, I did show the other transmission, the stock one. So this is the stock case here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing I did with my DR10, my regular one, and buy a Serpent aluminum diff, buy 2 Exotech top aluminum shafts, new ceramic bearings, and then buy 2 more roll pins, and this will be my backup transmission. What I was doing was I was testing to see if you could run an aluminum top shaft, which this is right here. This is actually out of a DR10. I don't have the part number off top of mine here, but yeah, you can run an aluminum transmission. It's going to be expensive if you don't want to run the steel, but being that this transmission is aluminum and all of the steel gears, it is fairly heavy, but I want to build this just to have a second option just in case. A lighter one. They'll both probably perform just as good, but it's nothing bad to have a second transmission in your toolbox. So but yeah, guys, that's pretty much my DR10M as of right now. I'm starting to do some different stuff as far as making my own traction compound or prep. So I'm testing out some new stuff. I'll try to put a description in below of my Facebook. You can hit me up if you want a bottle. But Snakebite Prep is the prep right here. It pretty much, so the main way that I made this was some of the states up north get obviously fairly cold. So I made this to where it flashes within, I don't know, as soon as you put it on, about 10 seconds. With a cold tire, this is just pulling it out of the car, throwing it on the table, wiping down the tires, adding this prep, and it will flash fairly fast. Obviously, you can still use warmers, heat the tires up, add this. It works just as good. So for all you northern guys, this will probably be a good prep for you in the wintertime as well. So hit me up and we'll get you situated there. But yeah, thanks again, guys. I'll try to throw some more content on here as much as I can. I've been building a box stock car as well, just trying different stuff. So for all you box stock guys, I picked up a drag slash, just changing out some little minor things just to, you know, knock off a couple of tents. But other than that, we'll catch you guys on the next one.